Welcome to episode 336 of the official Gamestitch Podcast. I'm Ryan Walton, and today I'm joined by producer Gerald.
Hello, everybody.
Dan is in the middle of a power outage.
He'll use those mountain skills to live off the land, lay of the land now.
Yeah, he's gone full, prepper. He's off the grid.
Off the grid.
Yeah, he's probably building a bunker as we speak.
Pitching tents.
Mm-hmm. Well, I do that daily, if you understand what I'm saying. This show almost wouldn't be possible without you, not just because you're on here, but we've been hit hard with storms.
Yeah.
In our country, unrelated to Dan's situation. I think he had a transformer below. I had no power to get the news for the show. So you did that, and then Dan texted late last night and said, I have no power, and then you had to put your host hat on and take the producer hat off. So Shout out to you.
Yeah, had to come on the other side of the glass.
Yeah. The glass cage is empty today. So your fingerprints are all over this episode.
So don't dust for them, please.
Yeah.
Don't put me in any weird situations.
Yeah, don't share them online. What are your thoughts on like the 23andMe and the what's the other one you can send?
Ancestry.com. And
what are your thoughts on these sites that collect DNA from people?
At first, I started, that's pretty neat. You can look up stuff because I've done it, and then you hear the conspiracy theories out there, which I'm a big conspiracy theorist. They're like, oh, the government's just collecting DNA evidence to find out where everybody's at and who's related to who, and if they want, people would think that if they wanted to, they can use your DNA to put you in a crime if they wanted to put you out there. I don't think it's anything like that.
These sites won't share with the government right now, but the scary part is they're building a massive database.
Yeah.
And there's a couple that do share, and I listen to a lot of true crime podcasts, and I like even with the Golden State Killer, the way they were able to track him down was through a genealogy from his relatives doing stuff like 23andMe and then posting results. They were able to find a match, then trace it back and figure out that it was that guy. So it's a little spooky because you don't need to send it in. If somebody in your family sends it in, you did something shitty last week or 10 years ago, and they're able to get a partial match and then start tracing it back to get a stronger and stronger match till they find you.
Yeah.
They're making it damn hard to commit crimes, and I don't like that.
Well, see, I work for the government now, so they have all my DNA and blood and fingerprints and shit.
You're in the system.
Yeah, and I was in the Air Force. I'd already even had it before that.
Yeah, see, I'm off the grid when it comes to government visibility as much as possible. So, do you think you should just go all in? They already have your stuff.
Yeah,
you should spit in that tube right now.
No, I've already done. I've done the Ancestry.com.
Oh, okay, you did it already.
Yeah, but I want to do the other 23andMe. Then there's another third one. I want to do all three. I just want to compare them and see how they do, because I've seen there was a TV show that they had 3 twins on there. 3 identical twins, and they all matched up like they had different things. One had like Scandinavian in it, like 1% of Scandinavian. The other one had like 2% Austrian, and the other one had something else.
So what you're saying is that mom got a little wild.
Yeah, it could have been.
That's what you're saying.
Or did they just had like more dominant of one than the other? But they were pretty close on everything else. But there was a few things that one had that the others didn't have.
Here's the thing: they could tell me I'm whatever, and I would just have to agree with it. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's why you do 3 of them.
I don't even have like a way to like sort through. My mother was adopted and didn't know anything about her biological parents. So I don't even have like a baseline for what I might be mixed up with.
Mm-hmm.
I would just have to take whatever they say as the gospel.
Yeah.
But because I'm off the grid, I'm not going to spit in the tube.
Right. Now with me, I'm supposed to be like a mutt. So I'm all over Europe.
Yeah. Your ancestors got around too.
Oh yeah. Polish, Welsh, German, Dutch, Russian.
Uh-huh. Double Dutch.
So it just keeps on going.
If I knew like my father or somebody real close to me did it, I'm all in. I'm spitting in that too, because then it's too close anyways.
Yeah. Now
I don't plan on committing any crimes, but you like to keep the options open. You never know what's going to pop up in the future.
No, I watched Oz when I was younger. I'm not doing any crime.
So sometimes I think, I was born in 85. Sometimes I think back to like my mom always watched a bunch of like crime shows growing up.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it used to be so easy to get away with something.
Oh yeah, back then.
Yeah, like she would watch like reruns of stuff, like Unsolved Mysteries and stuff, and I was like, man, you could just do whatever back in the day. Like people used to be able to rob banks. You can't rob a bank anymore.
Yeah, no, not now.
Not only are there cameras everywhere at the bank, but you drove past 200 cameras to even get there.
Oh yeah.
You can't even get within 100 yards of my house without being on like 4 cameras.
Yeah, someone's going to pull it out, then cell phones, and dash cams and cars.
Yeah, you remember, and I'm sure you do, and I do when I was little, do you remember people being like, I wish I had a camera?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody says that anymore.
Because everyone has one.
Yeah, sometimes you got like one in your pocket, sometimes you got 2 in your pocket.
And I see now phones are going to, some of the newer tech for phones, like the Galaxy phones, are going to have a camera on that. So you can press a button, it'll point, you just point your fist or your hand towards wherever you want to record it, it'll record it.
That's crazy. I don't know. I mean, the times are changing, but it's a bad time to be a criminal.
Yeah.
So maybe we should all just spit in that too, because I would hate to think I needed to get away with a crime in today's world.
Well, it'll be cybercrime. That's where the crime's at now.
I'm not smart enough for that, though.
Because all the drug dealers, all the drugs are getting legal.
Yeah. So
the big money drugs.
That certainly changes things. When you can just go buy the drugs, that probably reduces that kind of crime. So career criminals will have to learn the dark web.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting.
What's that hashtag? Learn to code or something
learn
like
to
that?
code.
Yeah.
That's a whole thing.
You can tell drug dealers how to learn to code.
Yeah. Learn to dark web. Hashtag learn to dark web. Yeah, if I was going to go into crime today, I think I would look into organized crime. Like middle tier.
Boss.
Yeah, no, like middle tier. I don't want to have to kill people. I want to be like below the guy, but not so far down that I'm doing the crappy stuff.
Just a delivery driver.
Yeah, like middle management of like a good crime family, I think. Because the thing about like when you're talking about cybercrime, they'll put you away.
Yeah.
They catch you cybercrime in 25 years. You're better off to kill somebody than you are to cybercrime.
Yep, definitely.
I'm referring to that like I'm 90 years old too, cybercrime. That's how like old people talk about internet thievery. The old cybercrime. You can't order from the Amazon.
What did you go to jail for? Cybercrime.
Yeah. That's what this show's all about. It's all about cybercrime and 23andMe. Neither one are sponsors, not cybercrime or 23.
But if 23andMe wants a sponsor,
yeah,
I'm more than happy.
Hey, listen, I said I'm holding off in case I want to commit a crime, but if you're listening to 23andMe and you want to sponsor us, I'll spit in the tube on video. and we'll go all in. What's the other one? There's another one.
There's Ancestry.com.
No, there's another like 23andMe. Like tube spitting. Is anybody doing like like a swab? Is anyone doing that?
No, yeah. Ancestry.com uses a little swab on your cheek.
It's a swab, not a spit, huh?
Mm-hmm.
There's another one, I think. So Nat Geo does like a genealogy one I've seen. It's called like Genealogy 2.0 or something like that.
There's MyHeritage.
I've seen the commercials.
Genetics Digest.
What was that last one? Genetics
Digest.
Oh, I thought you said Genetics by Jed. I'm like, no one's using that. That sounds super shady. Hey guys, send me your DNA. Now, the reason people are using this is because it's so simple, right? You get a vial, you spit in it. How many people you think would do it if you had to send in a vial of blood?
Probably not too many people.
Right, because you're scared. Like you had to put, what if you had to do a hair sample? They gave you a piece of tape that you stuck to your head and then you pulled that up. And then you had to put some drops of blood in there. Then they have a clone kit. They have everything they need to get a new baby Gerald going.
Well, I mean, when you go to the doctor's office and they get your blood for tests, and they still have your blood.
For anybody that's ever given blood to the doctor's office, they take an unreasonable amount of blood.
Yeah.
Like when I wasn't feeling well and they ran all those tests on me like 6 years ago.
Ancestry.com.
Ancestry.com. That's the one you've been saying.
23andMe.
Ancestry.
Ancestry.com.
I thought there was another big player. Oh. No, I thought I had it. Then I was thinking the same thing. I don't know.
MyHeritage.
MyHeritage, I've heard of, but that's the weaker of the three for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So for those that are new, we don't always talk about 23andMe or Learn to Code or anything really, but we do try to always talk about video games. But we like to take a slight detour in the beginning because, you know, we don't always get to talk all week long. This is the first time we've had to sit down all week long because of work.
Correct.
Tried to schedule lunch a couple times. The universe, if you're into that kind of thing, wouldn't allow it. So, I mean, we got to catch up on the week.
Yeah, definitely.
And work's been super busy, and it's draining me. Like at night, I'm not getting as much playtime as I want because I'm just mentally exhausted more so than physically.
Yeah, I haven't really seen you on it lately.
It's like 10 o'clock, and I'm like, I could play, or I could just watch a couple videos and chill and then fall asleep. And I've gone that route a couple times. I did play some Rocket League, a little more Farm Together. I'm trying to think if I played anything new. I played some, because my power was out, I played some Stardew Valley on the Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Thank the Lord for the Switch, but Nintendo needs to put a better battery in that thing. Because when the lights are out and you jam on it for 2 hours, then you're totally screwed.
You don't got like a battery pack or anything like that?
Yeah, I do.
External?
It was dead. So that was great. My Bluetooth speaker was dead. And I was like, cool, I'll just, back in time.
Yeah, the Switch saved me with the power being out. Then when it died, I had to pull my laptop out and use that.
My Switch was full charge. It just doesn't last if you're on it hard.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm always on it hard if I'm on it. So that was really it for me. It's not an exciting week. I've got to get more VR. I want to play Vacation Simulator. I got to finish Blood and Truth. I just have a ton to do for VR, but I just haven't. I don't want to jump in there for 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I also bought the Imagine Dragons Beat Saber pack. I just got so much VR to do.
Right. I almost bought the Lenovo Star Wars thing. It was on sale. It was $40 off.
Oh, the standalone Star Wars thing they made?
Yeah.
How does that work?
You plug you plug your phone into it.
Okay. It comes with like a lightsaber though, right?
Yep, lightsaber.
I saw it at the Target.
Yeah, Best Buy had it for $60.
Target had one out like on the display case. That's the only reason I know it comes with a lightsaber, because they actually had it out.
Yeah, with the goggles and the lightsaber inside the display case.
I didn't know that Lenovo made that.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. Everybody's up in the VR space.
Yeah, when I went to Best Buy, they had the new Oculus there, and they were trying to get everybody to try it out.
The Quest?
Yeah.
That's how you get pink eye. Just VRing right behind another stranger.
Yeah, without them cleaning it.
Yeah. Were they cleaning it?
I don't know, because she had some little boy in there.
Oh.
And she's like, hey, do you want to try it next? I'm like, no, I have too many VR things already. I'm good.
Right. My answer would have been like, I don't like germs on my eyes. Psycho. Maybe they're hitting it with a moist towelette between. Little alcohol pad between users.
I don't know. Next time I go in there, I might take a look and see how they do it.
It's not just the eyes, like the forehead. I sweat when I'm in VR. That's one of
me too.
VR is personal. Like, I don't need anybody in my headset.
Right.
People are always like telling me that they're.
You hear people talking about that. Let so and so play VR for 4 hours, and then so and so jumped into it. Then this person jumped into it. I'm like, well, that's a lot of people.
That's so gross. I hear people all the time. Like, I like showing people VR because once they see it, and I get that, but I don't want people up in my head space.
Yeah.
Like, that's mine. Like, I sweat on that, and I'm all up in that, so I don't want somebody else doing the same.
Do you clean yours when you're done?
Oh, I'm crazy about mine. I wrap the cord up. I have a separate cloth that I clean the latex part with, the rubber part, silicone part, not latex, and a separate one that I use just for the lenses. And usually if I got real sweaty, I'll grab a towel and I'll wet it a little bit and I'll kind of come over everything real gently with that. And then once it dries, I'll wipe everything down with the other 2 microfiber cloths that I use.
Yes, I have microfiber cloths and I have another cleaning cloth I'll use to clean mine up.
And then I put it in its case.
I do the Joy-Cons or the handle.
The Move controllers.
Move controllers.
And then I put everything in its case so that it's not out in open air.
So, mine's out. It's on display.
My headset looks like I bought it yesterday. If it was a car, it would be garage kept and not driven in the rain. Like it's nice shape. So I love the VR. And really, I just don't want to buy another one this close to the PS5 and whatever they come out there. So I need her to last, you know?
Yeah. I
need it to pull through and get us there.
If it broke, would you buy another one?
Probably. I would probably try to find a bundle that came with 2 games I didn't have and just bite the bullet.
Right. Me too.
Now, if I had the 2.0, the one with the HDR pass-through, and it went down, I don't know if I would buy another. So close to the PS5, but because I don't have that one anyways, I wouldn't mind having that upgraded model.
Right.
As it stands, so probably. Also, I didn't buy my first one, so I'm okay giving them a little money for it.
Yeah.
So.
Because you won yours.
No, Taco Bell. Yeah, my pops won it. My daddy-o won it through a $5 box, and
yeah. So if you don't believe someone wins something, we have proof.
Yeah, we got that taco power. I never won anything from them except for please try again, and we eat a lot of Taco Bell.
Yeah,
but he does,
especially back in the day. We did.
He eats like no Taco Bell, and he won.
I know you won that. Then I know someone's brother who won the gold PlayStation.
That's crazy. So you haven't been on in a while. What have you been up to as far as the games go? Because you haven't been on the recording side of things.
Well, I've been playing Mafia 3.
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much gave up on trying to platinum all these games. Got burnt out on that. So
you're back to just playing for enjoyment and not trophy hunting anymore.
Right. I'm trying to go through back catalogs. I got so many games still the wrapper. So I decided to throw Mafia 3 in there and play that. And then there's a couple other games I'm going to play after that one's done. And then on the Switch, I've been playing Fortnite. And then, let's see, Fallout Shelter on there. I got the NBA 2K19 for $2.99 during the E3 sale for the Switch.
Now, you said you've got a couple things after Mafia. What's next on the list?
I don't know. I haven't played Horizon Zero Dawn.
Got to play that.
Detroit.
I love Detroit. I could see you liking Horizon better, though.
I've got Hitman to play. I've got Battlefield. I've got a couple of the Metal Gears. There's probably like 12 games still wrapped up. Haven't been touched.
How do you decide? Do you want something different than the experience? Like, so, Mafia, open world, giant environment. Are you going to want to pivot from that, or are you going to go right back into another open world?
I don't know. Mafia 3 hit me because me and my friend were talking about it because he was playing it, and they're just like, you know what? I'm going to play this. I'm going to play it.
Some people like a palate cleanser between experiences and not to go right back into another whatever, you know.
Right, going from shooter to shooter to shooter.
So
yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It depends on what's out. Maybe something comes out. Maybe Days Gone goes on sale or something.
I'm interested.
Free.
I'm interested in Days Gone for $20 or less.
Yeah, same here. That's how I am for most games now.
What about Starlink?
I still have that.
Yeah, I need to play that.
Did you ever get the Target exclusive one?
I didn't. You really threw me off when you told me it's paper.
Yeah.
I'm not super sold on it being paper. Now, here's what I did do. I've spoken about the $5 store before. I bought the Switch version because I wanted Star Fox.
Yeah, me too. I got that.
So when I was at Give Me a 5 the other day, they had the Xbox One version, but the game is gone. So I bought it for $5 without the game so I could get the ships and the characters that comes with the normal Starlink. because it's not the same as what comes with the Switch version.
Right.
So I'm pretty excited about that because it was like more than you could buy for $5 for sure.
Oh yeah, because I mean I think there's like $29 for the PlayStation and the Xbox.
Yeah, and so I think it was the ship, one or two characters, and then of course some attachments. And then it has the thing that holds the ship on the controller or whatever it is, which I don't need. I'll probably just throw out. But yeah, everything but the game, which is what I needed because I'm going to play on Switch anyway. So it was just basically like getting an extra ship. So it was pretty cool to get that, and it got me re-energized to play Starlink. I installed it on my Switch. It's updated and ready to play. I just haven't played it yet. Yeah,
that Target exclusive little paper thing, Bargain Hunt's got like 40 of them.
How much are they there?
I think like $7-8.
Higher than they were in Target.
Yeah.
Interesting. So let's jump into the news. Let's jump into that.
News.
Harry Potter Wizards Unite, which is the Niantic's Pokemon Go style Harry Potter game.
Right, and you've definitely tried it out.
I've been wizarding it up. Those who are longtime listeners know my love for Pokemon Go. 2 years ago or whatever it was, it actually got me moving again. And I'm dipping my toes into this Harry Potter game. I still dabble with Pokemon Go. I've had my ups and downs with it. But I'm liking this Harry Potter because it's like an onion. It's got lots of layers. It's not just catch shit.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing to it. There's these quests and missions and achievements and collectibles and potions that you have to craft through ingredients that you pick up in the real world, and there's these ends and there's all kinds of crazy stuff going on there. So it's like the next level of what I think Pokemon Go is. And I've been liking it so far. It's been pretty stable. I haven't had any crashes. Obviously, they've learned a lot from Pokemon Go. It is very much using the same kind of mapping system. It feels the same. It sort of looks the same, but instead of Pokemon, it's Harry Potter shit. But yeah, I like it. I don't know how long I'll stick with it, but I'm going to play it for a while, and I'm probably going to enjoy myself. But we kind of want to let everybody know that is available now. And I believe at this point it is on Android as well as iOS. So you can get that thing everywhere.
Yeah, I haven't touched it. I probably won't.
Yeah.
I'm not a big Harry Potter
person. You don't even have to be. You should just jump on in.
I mean, I wasn't a Pokemon person either, and I play that well, mainly because all you guys are playing it.
The Wonderful World of Harry Potter. It's good. I've enjoyed myself so far. It's very Pokemon Go. So check that out if you're interested in that. I still want to give a strong shout out to Golf Blitz, which is incredible. And I love that game. I'm playing it every day still. Kind of been heavy on the mobile here lately. So definitely getting into that. Anything to add about Harry Potter?
I think that it's going to transition that style of game into a whole nother future. They're going to do something a little bit different. Then the next person is going to take their Pokemon and this person's and come out with something even different. And eventually it'll be when you're going to download it on your smartwatch and walk around your smartwatch doing everything.
There's a Jurassic Park one as well.
Yeah.
And I think a Ghostbusters one too.
And like Walking Dead style.
Now, none of those are made by Niantic. So this is the people, behind the Pokemon Go. So it very much feels like Pokemon Go. But I think that, we've seen it, but I think it's a little harder to replicate than something like Battle Royale. But I do think that these kind of like weird AR type real world games have almost become a genre of their own.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you think this will have anywhere near the success of Pokemon Go?
No.
Me either. Like right off the bat, I opened it and I'm like, see, part of what's so charming about Pokemon is that they're adorable looking.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to know anything about it because the game mechanics are very simple.
Right. Now, in this Harry Potter, are you catching creatures or dragons or?
So what you're doing is recovering things. So it'll be like a creature that's like, there's a spell on it or something like that, and you have to cast like a anti-spell to get it out. And you do that through a finger like pattern that'll pop on the screen, but as soon as you start drawing, the template goes away. The closer you are to what was there, the higher your chances of freeing whatever or getting whatever.
Because the lore about Pokemon, everyone was going crazy of catching the new thing.
Yeah. But the thing about Pokemon Go, and I know it's way more complicated now, but when it started, it was simple. You just caught them.
Yeah.
Right? They popped up, you threw a ball, you caught them. And so the barrier for entry was a lot better. This Harry Potter game's a little complicated right off the rip. Like you open it up and there's dialogue back and forth and you have to advance the story and it's like a whole thing. And maybe that will turn some people off. And I also think that not everyone had a connection with Pokemon, but certainly more people had a stronger connection with Pokemon. And then as it called on, it was like you had to do it to be a part of things because everybody was doing it.
Right. Remember downtown, how many people would be walking around on their phones?
Oh, my goodness. Downtown and the Riverwalk. I remember going and there's like thousands of people.
Yeah.
It was like remarkable what that game did when it first came out.
Now, you still do see people down there because where I work, sometimes after work downtown, you drive through, you'll see people out there playing, but it's nowhere like it was.
So sometimes if because I work, half my day is in the office, half of it's outside, sometimes I'll grab a quick bite and I'll eat at the river there. Mm-hmm. And I see people walking around playing, and those gyms turn over pretty quickly. But it's nothing like it used to be.
No. But I think a lot of the crime where people were getting their phones stolen and robbed playing Pokemon.
Let's not forget people died playing Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
People walked off of cliffs and stuff like that. Yeah, right into traffic. It's crazy. Speaking of crazy, and I appreciate this story, Neil Druckmann is kind of trolling people over the release date of The Last of Us 2. Not really trolling people, but he's just basically saying it'll come out when it comes out.
Yeah.
So he shared a tweet the other day, and he said, FYI, every time someone asks for the release date, the game gets pushed back by 5 minutes, and he put the little purple devil cat smiley face.
Yeah, it's funny when he just says 5 minutes.
Yeah. And then because the internet is the internet, then 10 billion people all responded asking when it was coming out, which is also kind of funny. There's a lot of rumors. I think Ashley Johnson said on Critical Role that it was going to be out. She plays Ellie for those that are unfamiliar, but she said that she thought it would be out in a month that starts with F. Jason Schreier over Kotaku has also reported it's going to launch in February. There's a lot of speculation. They're trying to hold it to get it closer to the PS5 and maybe like a dual launch. No one's sure how PS4 games are going to work on PS5 and if there's going to be an upgraded version or if it'll automatically upgrade or who knows any of that. So, but it's just funny to see like somebody be like, look, we know that you want to know, but we're not ready to tell you. So back up.
Right.
Give me a little breathing room. Plus I like Neil Druckmann a lot. I think he's funny. I think he gets it.
Do you think they know when it's coming out, or do you think it's not ready yet?
I don't think they know. I think they know
it's ready.
When they would like to have it out. When you hear them talk about, and they've talked about it a lot with Uncharted 3 and Last of Us, like how much that game came together in the last 6 months, and how it was a totally different game. I think they're probably getting close to that point of Last of Us 2. It's not there yet. And I don't think they know if it's 6 months or 8 months or a year, but that polish is going to come on really fast now that I think that they're pretty close to what that game is. So I think they have a window they'll try to hit, but I bet they don't internally have an exact date.
I think they have a goal like, hey, okay, we want it to be out February 14th of 2020, but they're not going to push it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. If it's not ready, I think we all know that Sony won't make Naughty Dog release something that's not ready.
Right.
So that's interesting. Now, this next story, less interesting to me. This is out of control. I feel like we have to talk about this every week. And obviously something's going to give with it soon. The dam's going to break somewhere, one way or the other. More loot box talk. Or should I say surprise mechanics?
Right.
Because the UK government had EA bosses and Epic bosses and management to talk about loot boxes and microtransactions. And I thought it was interesting. And I'm going to play you some audio. I'm just going to play it over this podcast. I want everybody to hear the way that EA's VP of Legal Government Affairs talks about loot boxes, and I want to get your thoughts on it.
Okay.
So let me cue up the audio here. Here we go.
Can I ask you, both companies, do you consider loot boxes to be an ethical feature of your games? Kelly?
Well, first, we don't call them loot boxes. I think that was...
Whatever term you wish to apply to them, do you consider them ethical?
So what we look at as surprise mechanics. But I think it's important to look at this. So if you go to a I don't know what your version of Target is, but a store that sells a lot of toys, and you do a search for surprise toys, what you'll find is that this is something people enjoy. They enjoy surprises. And so it's something that's been part of toys for years, whether it's Kinder Eggs or Hatchimals or LOL Surprise. We do think the way that we have implemented these kind of mechanics, and FIFA, of course, is our big one, our FIFA Ultimate Team and our packs, is actually quite ethical and quite fun, enjoyable to people.
So that's the audio from... Again, that's the VP of Legal and Government Affairs for EA. Now, what are your thoughts?
Of what she said or the whole situation?
So let's just dissect what she said first.
Okay.
So she calls them surprise mechanics, which is somehow more douchey than loot boxes.
Yeah.
I don't like that at all. I don't like surprise mechanics. He even, like, do you hear the government guy? I don't know who he is. You hear, like, the giggle? Mm-hmm. He gives like an audible like gasp giggle thing when she says surprise mechanics that implies like fuck off.
It's loot boxes.
It's loot boxes, right? So whatever, it's loot boxes. Also, she doesn't know what their equivalent of Target is, which I do like. Because don't even do your research about what kind of stores they use. Mm-hmm. Because that's a canned response, right? She knew she was going to get that question, but yet she didn't even take the time to figure out what they use. And I like that about it. It's a ballsy move. Yeah,
and that means she's used that terminology before in another meeting. Okay, it's just like if you go to Target.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it's what she says when she's in the U.S., but she didn't even bother to look up what they use in the U.K. So I like that about her. Now, she makes the tie to Kinder Eggs or Hatchimals or LOL Surprise.
Mm-hmm.
I think she's missing the mark because I think the conclusion that you make for something like that, especially FIFA, is basketball cards or football cards or baseball cards.
Yeah.
Or Magic the Gathering. Right, yeah. So those are always blind packs. They're always surprises. I think that's better. Now she's saying she's like equating it to toys.
Which she can, because like with me and you, we dabble in Legos.
Mm-hmm.
It's like going buying a minifigure who you open up, you don't know who you're really going to get unless you feel around the package.
It's the exact same thing. But I think that not drawing the conclusion to toys, because toys are always for kids, right? Or should be. You just made an example where it's not, but it should be mostly for kids, where I feel like video games aren't. And I think the strongest argument for loot boxes is we make games for everybody. I read an article the other day that said loot boxes aren't the problem. It's how easily kids can spend money by taking their parents' credit cards.
Which I can see that.
Okay, but is that the loot box's fault? Is that the game's fault? Like, be better parents.
Yeah.
Understand how things work, that if your credit card information is stored, they can make purchases.
Mm-hmm.
Beat that ass when they do something like that, and it won't happen again. And I don't mean beat your kids. I mean punish them. Jerk the power cord out. Take that Xbox out in the street and smash it to bits. Teach them a lesson however you want. But I'm not telling you how to parent, but I don't think that loot boxes should be held responsible for people who just put their kid in the corner with an Xbox so they don't talk.
Right. Now, I did see someone before say, some article when you guys were talking about this a couple months ago, who said that if you look at the loot boxes and you compare them to the toys like baseball cards, football cards, or like the Legos, you can resell those. So if you don't want them, you can get rid of them. But in the video game world, if you buy a loot box, you can't sell what you get in there. You can't get rid of it. You can't. So you're basically just buying something and just wishing you get what you want. But like the Lego, okay, I don't want this minifigure. I can go sell it. These baseball cards, if I get a bunch of these, I can pack them together and sell them to somebody else.
So, and some games do have a marketplace. So Rocket League is my best example of loot boxes because it's something I play every day. You can trade on there.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I could take something I get out of a crate. That's what they call their loot boxes. I could get something out of a crate. I could trade it to you for in-game currency or whatever you wanted to trade me for it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there is some value there in those objects. You could even go to somewhere like eBay, and right now you can type in Rocket League PS4, and you'll see all the things for sale that come out of those boxes. It's against policy as far as psionics is concerned, but they got way bigger problems than police and eBay.
Yeah.
So I guess what I'm saying is there are ways on a lot of games to get it back out. In Fortnite, I think you can trade things between people, and there are things to get some of these luck grabs or whatever you want to call them, loot boxes, surprise mechanics. There are ways to transfer those over. You could, in theory, I guess, trade stuff for V-Bucks in Fortnite. But I think the one thing that they're missing the mark on, that most of the toys, even if it's on the package, it's online, you have to list the odds of getting whatever. And I think the reason...
the special item.
Yeah, and I think the reason they resist, because if there's odds, it's gambling, right?
Yeah.
But basketball cards, go grab a pack of basketball cards. It's printed on the fucking pack.
Yeah. Your chance of getting a Tom Brady autograph card in here is one of
585. Yeah, it's going to say it right on the pack. So I think that's the key, right? And I think they're doing that in China right now, and a couple other countries. But if I could load up the crate in Rocket League and I'm like, ooh, I want that car, and it says right underneath it, 1 in 500 get that car. I don't know if I'm going to spend the dollar.
And that's what they don't want, because they want you to spend it.
It is. That is what they want. But to me, that's the logical next step, is a simple ESRB rating that says in-game purchases. And I don't think you have to distinguish the difference between microtransactions or loot boxes or DLC, but in-game purchases, meaning something is available right now for you to buy at the time of launch, and publishing odds. I think that's a good logical first step from where we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think loot boxes have to go away. As an adult with a job, I enjoy some loot boxes. I don't enjoy all of them. Would I rather just pay $1.99 for a car that I was guaranteed to get? Sometimes. I also like the idea that I have stuff other people don't.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want, Rocket League would be less enjoyable if you could just buy everything that was out there, meaning if you had enough money, you could have it. There's a chance you could spend $1 and get the rarest thing in the game, and I like that.
Or what about if they did something where you earn it, like by winning 10 games in a row?
Yeah, I'm into that too. I like that, and I think they should do that as well. Now, they have the Rocket Pass, which gets you a ton of content. I would love, if let's make the trophies or whatever, achievements, it would be cool if items were tied to those.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you did a super special thing, so you get this, so that anyone sees you driving it, know you did that thing.
Yeah.
15,000 goals. That's a huge accomplishment. Let's give you something for that. I think I'm into that for sure. And I wish they did more of that, but the Rocket League system is already so complicated with the amount of things available and things to unlock and get. It's to add more to it is almost not something I want at this moment.
Me neither. I'm not really big on the loot boxes, like with my own money buying stuff, unless I really like the game, and then I'll use it to support the game.
Yeah. Now, I will say that I do think that there should be another way to unlock those crates. Like Rocket League has decryptors. Every game that has paid loot boxes, you should be able to open X Mini for free. Just because I think that I don't think the experience should be totally tied to having to spend real money. And no matter what, it has to be, has to be all cosmetic. It can't make me better at the game.
No, those are the ones I hate.
Yeah, those pay to wins. I don't like that either. So that's the loot box story, or excuse me, the surprise mechanic story. I just really don't like that lady. She's probably fine personally, if you know her, if you hang out with her. She's probably fine at a barbecue. I didn't care for her right here. That's not the person they need talking about this. There was no passion there. It was very like, if you go to Target or whatever, it's like buying a Kinder Egg. They're not loot boxes. They're surprise mechanics, asshole. We don't call them loot boxes.
Yep. It's because she said that same whole thing before several times.
Yeah, I didn't like that. Didn't like that at all. On to however you want to look at it, a sad, a happy, a story that you're indifferent about. Kaz Hirai from Sony has officially retired from Sony and from PlayStation. We told you back in February that CEO Kaz Hirai announced that he would be stepping down and transitioning to a director-chairman role. Then in March of this year, he decided that he would just retire altogether, leaving then CFO Kenichiro Yoshida. Is that right? Kenichiro.
Yeah,
Yoshida in charge of the company. Hirai's last day at PlayStation and Sony altogether was June 18th. It was previously reported that he would serve as a senior advisor and will continue to provide counsel as requested by Sony's management team. Basically, sounds like he's a phone call away if they have a question.
Yeah, he just wants to enjoy that money and go on vacation.
Yeah, so he joined Sony Music in 1984, then moved to Sony Computer Entertainment, which is now SIE, in 95 before becoming CEO and president of the company in 2012. He basically just says that the travel schedule over the last 6 years as CEO is just too much.
Yeah.
He needs a break. He's been doing this for too long, and obviously I support anybody who is financially sound enough to retire and wants to enjoy life, but as somebody who was there for the beginning of PlayStation, is certainly an icon in the industry stepping down. So shout out to him and whatever his endeavors are from here. But I wanted to point out that he was officially now retired from Sony and from PlayStation.
Enjoy your life, sir.
Yep. Do your thing. Speaking of doing your own thing, Nintendo is evaluating game streaming services and technologies. And the reason I like this story, the reason I thought it was important, or you thought it was important, and I'm going to put words in your mouth. The reason I think you think it was important is because the Switch, of all the systems available, of all the services out there, is probably most in need of a streaming service.
Yeah.
Because it's the least powerful. It's not a huge issue right now, but when the PS5 and the Xbox One, 2, 380 come out, it's going to be an issue, right? The Switch is going to be way behind the times at that point. And I know they're working on a couple other models or whatever it is Nintendo does, but a streaming service would help level the playing field a little bit.
It would.
You know, if I can run Destiny 2 at 60 frames a second at 4K on my phone, I can also do that on my Switch if the screens could handle it. Please don't write in telling me the screen can't handle it. But you know, I think Nintendo's probably the in the back of the pack when it comes to this, because they haven't worried about any of these things. Nintendo doesn't worry about their services. But
it's one of those things where like Microsoft and Sony are trying to do things to compete with each other and up each other. Now you have Stadia coming out and all these other streaming services coming out. So Nintendo's like, you know what, you do you, and we're just going to do us. And then every few years we'll bring out something awesome that people like, and then we'll go a few years where we'll bring out stuff that nobody likes.
And I like that about Nintendo. I do. I like that they march to their own drum. But I think this is one they need to pay attention to because they, like I said, they have the most to benefit from this. So certainly with xCloud, with Microsoft, and Stadia with Google, and Sony with the memorandum of understanding to use the Azure technology for whatever streaming services, and they have Gaikai and it's PlayStation Now and all that stuff. Nintendo's got to pay attention to this, and there's a couple comments here that's going to allude to the fact that they are at least watching. The first one coming from a Nintendo of America executive, Charlie Scabetta, who was talking to TechCrunch at E3, and said that streaming is certainly interesting technology. He added that Nintendo is monitoring the technology, going on to say that for now, at least, Nintendo is focusing on physical games and sales through the eShop. Streaming is certainly interesting technology. Nintendo is keeping a close eye on it, and we're evaluating it. We don't know. We don't have anything to announce right now in terms of adopting technology. For us, it's still physical and digital through eShop. And then Doug Bowser, who is now the president of Sony, or Nintendo of America, I should say. He took over for Reggie. Told the Hollywood Reporter that it's always interesting to see what others are doing in the space as it relates to streaming. We're always interested in how various new technologies can enable different ways to play games, he said. So, couple high-level execs talking about streaming on the Switch. And I think, like I said, I think they're the ones that have to pay attention. So I hope they don't wait forever. Now, they went from making those remarks about VR to, we're checking it out. We're not dabbling, but we're interested, to bam, having Labo VR out.
Right.
So Nintendo maybe now more than ever is paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
They're already in bed with Microsoft. Microsoft has got this, Phil Spencer. I love Phil Spencer. He's got this real, I love everybody, and I want everybody to play all the games everywhere. And to put his money where his mouth is, I think that if Nintendo is ready to do some sort of full partnership to get Xbox Live or Game Pass or xCloud technology over there, I think he'll have to do it.
Yes.
I bet this story advances faster than a lot of people would think, and that old Nintendo would be capable of. And I think it's a good thing. It's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Would you pay for a Nintendo Pass?
I mean, the Nintendo Online is something similar to that, and I bought that.
So, but if they made it, so now it's $20 a year. If they made it $60 a year, but it came with streaming.
If it had the kind of games that I'm looking for, then yeah. Depends on what the service is.
Yeah, just everything.
Xbox Game Pass. If I had Xbox, I'd be on Game Pass immediately.
Yeah, Game Pass is great. So I'm interested to see how everything pans out. But I think the fact that there are multiple people talking about it means that they are paying attention to it. And if they implement it like they did the VR, it probably won't work. I think you have to go all in. I don't think you can dip your toes in with streaming.
Mm-hmm.
So time will tell on that. Last story I have pulled. Phil Spencer has now confirmed that the Project Scarlet is just one console for right now. So last year, I think he made the comment that they were working on Xboxes, multiple projects. Excuse me. Then they shipped the Xbox SAD edition, 1X all digital, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Xbox One S all digital edition. And so he says that was what he meant when he was plural, is they were working on that, and now they have Project Scarlet. But at this time, Project Scarlet is just one SKU, and they are focused on making Project Scarlet the thing. And as of right now, they have no plans on multiple boxes. So a lot of people were thinking they were going to come out with a discless version at launch, and maybe they will. But if they do, that's going to be the only one they come out with. So, what do you think the odds are that it's one SKU, because that's the only route they're going?
They're saying that for now.
So you think that it is going to have a disc, it is going to be traditional, but it won't last long for the only version.
Right.
Yeah.
They're going to have a discless one within a year.
But you don't think this is the discless one?
No.
That would be too fast.
Yeah, because there are people complaining about it. If they come out saying it's not going to have a disc, and it's like, well, I want to, if I want to take a game over to my friend's house and play, we want to play it, and where they, the last time when they brought the Xbox One out, all the hate and hatred they got off of some of the stuff they were announcing, people went crazy over it, and they turned around and flipped it.
Yeah, I don't think they'll do discless right off the rip, but I do think it would be cocky if they did. Mm-hmm. If they said, look, xCloud, streaming, Xbox One, or Xbox Gold and Live and Game Pass is the future. Every Xbox you buy is Xbox Game Pass compatible, is xCloud compatible, and you don't need physical games anymore because we want you to play everywhere, anywhere.
Right, but then you'll have Sony come out with the disc and like the videos that they did last time.
Here's how you play a game on our console, and they'll put the disc in.
Yep. I can go to the store and buy the game I want. Here. You want to borrow it? Here you go.
God bless Sony, which is a rigid Japanese company. The way they handled the launch of the PS4 in response to what Microsoft did was so fucking smooth. Mm-hmm. Here's how you share a game on PS4, and it's just two dudes handing one back and forth in a 7-second video. It's genius. Yeah. It's so smart. It was so well done because they isolated all the fears that people had, and they put them in fun little videos that said we're the total opposite, and it almost torpedoed Microsoft right off the bat.
Yep, because they had to go back and change all kinds of stuff.
Everything. It was so smart and so unpredictable out of Sony because they're so bad at that normally.
And which I thought was weird. I think you guys talked about how it was easy for them just to flip a button and make all that stuff work.
Yeah. So I think Microsoft, more than anyone, they have the ability to pivot in a way that Nintendo and Sony don't. Mm-hmm. Because Microsoft is more so than the other two, is a technologies company. They love services. Yes. They love technology. They love moving forward. Sony is a little more set in their ways, and Nintendo is firmly planted in their ways. They stay the course, right? They're already working on whatever's next, and no matter what happens, Nintendo's going to put out whatever they see as next. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting to see some of these companies step out of their comfort zone, and I thought Sony did at the launch. And I thought it was beautiful, but then I thought they really stepped back after that, back into their comfort zone. Sony did everything right for the PS4. Their branding and messaging was on point from the beginning. They kept their mouth closed, and they just kept pumping out hit after hit from the first party. Exclusive after exclusive. Yes. Good games. And I thought that was brilliant. But they can't rely on that again for PS5.
No.
They can't hope that Microsoft's going to fuck up the messaging. They can't say, but we have another Spider-Man game coming. They're going to have to ratchet it up somehow. I love how married they are to VR. I think it's smart because Nintendo and Microsoft aren't. But you got to get VR in more people's hands, and you do that by making it cheaper.
Yeah, and then bringing a game free every month with your PlayStation Plus.
Yep, or something people can't refuse. An Uncharted VR game. Uncharted VR game, if you couldn't hear me through the yawn. Something people got to play.
The next Grand Theft Auto is going to be in VR.
Mm-hmm. Going to have a VR.
Or parts of it.
Yep. Man, that Grand Theft Auto in VR would be too much.
Yeah.
That would be overload. But yeah, interesting to see how all that shakes out. There's a huge sale on PlayStation and Xbox right now. Mm-hmm. PlayStation's got a flash sale. I don't know when it ends, but it's everything on there is under $10. There's add-ons and games. So a ton of good stuff on there. And Xbox got a ton of shit on sale too.
Yeah, it's a good time to get some games if you're looking for something new.
As far as stuff coming out, nothing really blowing my mind except for you're going to get Super Mario Maker 2 on June 28th. So be on the lookout for that. Kind of jumps out at me.
I'm surprised you didn't say Monster Jam. The Bigfoots.
Monster Jam Still Titans, June 25th. I played that last Monster Jam game and it sucked.
Oh, okay.
So much like Microsoft, they're going to have to earn their way back into my heart. Because that last one was terrible.
They had a Monster Jam down in Nashville yesterday.
I went to one way back when. It wasn't a Munster Jam thing, but it was Munster trucks and but it was at the
Fairgrounds.
No, I wish it was at like the auditorium.
Oh, the municipal auditorium.
Yes, inside there, which is tiny. And it
All them diesel fuel.
Diesel fuel, and it was so ungodly loud.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way that place, the acoustics are in that place, it was so obnoxiously loud.
Yeah, I went to one when I was younger outside, and it was loud as hell. And it was outside.
Yeah. I don't know how that works.
I don't know. See, the game's coming out. The only one that actually none. There ain't no games that I'm interested in.
What about my honorable mention was I can't stop yawning. What was it? Bloodstain Ritual of the Night. A lot of people excited about that. It came out last week for everything else, which is this week. But next week, which is the actual week you're listening to this, because I just broke time, is the Switch version's coming out, which I think would be a cool place to play that. That is from was Igarashi, I think his name is. That could be totally wrong. Castlevania OG. This looks like Symphony of the Night. Got that vibe. 2.D Castle Metroidvania style game from the people from really the man who was a big part of that. I think that's his name. Maybe not. Don't let us know if I got that wrong. That's it for the news. Again, thanks for pulling all that. It was nice for me to see what someone else thought was important. And then trying to decide why I thought it was important. So that was fun. It was nice to get the brain firing on all cylinders this morning.
Mm-hmm. You're welcome.
Dan's still not here. Shout out to Dan still being gone.
He might have just walked in the door and surprised
us.
I
thought who knows? I thought he might just join. I thought he was maybe he was surprised and be like, guys, I'm here. I went outside, I hooked the generator up. The only thing I plugged in was the computer and the Wi-Fi.
Here's some donuts.
Mm-hmm. But nothing. Not here. So we held it down. It's that lovely time of the show where we do shout outs. Remember, if you want to shout out, head over to patreon.com/Gamestitch. Subscribe at the $10 tier or higher to get a shout out each and every week on the podcast, no matter what, because you earned it. It's your time. The last 2 weeks have been crazy because of E3, but we're back with full on shout outs. So I didn't have a chance to talk to Zach this week. I did talk to Thomas a little bit. We've been texting back and forth, or he's texted me, I should say, and I was really busy, so I got to text him back. But he did some streaming. Thomas blows my mind. He's able to play with us on his cell phone, tethered to his PS4. It blows my mind he can even make it work. Then he let me know this week that he not only played with his desktop, tethered to his phone, but he was able to stream what he was playing just on a cell phone connection. So he was able to play it and stream it just on a cell phone connection. So my shout out for Thomas is he was able to break 4G and use it for so much more than it ever should be.
Good job, Thomas.
And shout out to whoever the fuck your provider is, because they're really going out on a limb for you and making that happen.
Yeah, I wonder if he was connected through 4G or was he connected through Wi-Fi?
Yeah, well, if he had Wi-Fi, I assume he wouldn't use his phone. He would just connect to the Wi-Fi source.
But if he didn't have his PlayStation there, or he was just using his phone at work?
No, so he's connected to his desktop.
Okay.
But I think he's tethered.
Tethered through?
Yeah,
okay.
to his cell phone.
Damn.
Let me read exactly what he said here. I want to make sure I get this right. He was able to stream via desktop in my work truck on the phone internet. His hotspot speeds are throttled, but he was still able to make it work. He said it wasn't good, but it wasn't absolutely terrible either.
So he was using his phone as a hotspot.
Yep. And streaming and playing.
Nice.
Yeah, so crazy. Super crazy, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And then my shout out for Zach is a question, because Zach is in California. I thought about this after. We should ask him before. Zach, being down in California, I know California's a big state. Have you ever been to E3 or Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con? Being close to those big events like that, I'm wondering if you've ever been, if you've ever thought about going, if you have any desire to go to either one of those or anything else. Let us know what you've done, because California gets a lot. Now, Nashville's catching up. Nashville's starting to get some cool stuff.
Which we had the Comic-Con here for 2 years.
But it's nothing like San Diego.
Yeah.
We'll never get
and then they left
never
us.
get E3. Although the LA Convention Center contract is up, I think, next year. So what if E3 started to float and bounce about?
Yeah, I don't know if it'll be the same.
That bitch in Nashville is what I'm saying, ESA. But yeah, let us know if you've ever been to anything there. I want to talk about it on the next show. I'm just curious that you're into video games and your proximity to some of those events, or even PlayStation Experience or anything like that. If you've ever been curious or wanted to go or have gone to any of those things.
Because you've been to an E3.
I went to an E3 before it was open to the public, which I think is the way to have gone after seeing it for the last few years. It was the one where the Vita was about to release before the Vita came out, and it was when the Wii U was still basically was first announced. So the Vita was like a couple months out from launch. I actually have a sticker and a lanyard that says I touched it, and it's PlayStation Vita logo underneath it, which is pretty cool, and I still kind of enjoy. And then I have a picture of me holding the Wii U tablet while it's chained to some lady's arm at the Nintendo booth, because they were afraid we were going to run off with them. They were chained to models who were walking around with them. So
now I know we talked about before. You said you probably wouldn't go back to one. Has your opinion changed on that?
No. I mean, if you guys were all going and we went as a group, sure, that would be fun. But to go to E3, that doesn't super excite me the same way. PAX seems too crowded, but I guess maybe we could try one of those. I'm really into PlayStation Experience. I think that would be cool.
Yeah, me too.
And I would really like to go to Toy Fair.
Oh yes, definitely.
In New York. I would really love to go to that. Just once. Because I've been to a Comic-Con, I've been to E3. I would like to go to Toy Fair and just walk around. I mean, you guys would get way more out of that than I would, but I would like to just go.
Mm-hmm.
So, they always do exclusive toys there too, and I'm into that.
Yeah.
I'm into the...
Especially San Diego Comic-Con. They always have the exclusive...
I'm into the exclusive stuff.
Pops and...
Man,
figures.
Pops are everywhere.
Comics. Yeah.
So that's it for the shout-outs. Let us know, Zach, if you've thought about going, if you're interested in going, if you have gone to any of those things since your location, your geographical advantage that you have. That's it. That's the shout-outs. That's the news. That's the babble up front. Now it's time for social media plugs. I am at Podcast. Ryan Gerald is at Hoffman Show. Dan is without power, and his phone died because he was without power. But when he comes back up, you can hit him up at Shirtless Dan on Twitter. And all of us are at Game_Stitch. So it's where you can get at us. You can find us.
And talk to us.
Remember, patreon.com/Gamestitch if you want to support this little endeavor that we have going. And send Gerald kind words for making sure this episode happened. Send him words of wisdom, thank yous, kind messages, warm welcomes.
Even if it's not warm or kind, I'll
dick
take
pics.
It. No, don't need any
Slide
of
up
those.
in his DMs. All that stuff. So, you have any parting words? Anything you want to say?
No, I enjoy being on
This
again.
is your time to shine. You can say whatever you want right now.
I love all you guys.
Driving this car. You keep it on the road. You can just rip it off into a field, maybe jump a bank into some water. Can melt the show down.
No, I'm not going to do any of that. I want to be able to come back next week.
Seriously though, thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for letting us invade the space between your ears each and every week. Without you guys, this would be possible. It would be less fun.
No, thank you.
Yeah, so keep listening. Keep telling your friends, your coworkers, the people who bag your groceries and carry them to the car about this show. Your dentist when their hands are in the mouth, let them know about the show and where they can find us. We're available on literally every service out there. And we're on Dash Radio. So you can't not find us.
If you do listen to us, let us know how you listen to us.
It would be effective for us to know where you listen, how you listen, and to make the show better for the future. Do you listen to the whole show? Do you bust it into parts? Are you on Apple Podcast? Are you on Stitcher, SoundCloud, YouTube? Do you listen on Dash? Do you listen on iHeart? TuneIn? Where are you at? Give us that info.
And what you're doing when you listen. Are you working
Unless
out?
it's
Are you
weird.
driving? Are you at work?
If it's weird, then just tell us something normal.
No, tell us the weird stuff.
Yeah, get up in Gerald's DMs again with that weird stuff. That's going to do it for us. Episode 336. We'll be back next week. Same time, same place. Good night.
Bye.